Hi everyone, I'm Grattles, and welcome to the Best Star 3. This is episode 13, and boy, this is a doozy. So, I started out where I wanted to move the hub from here to here. I started to lay out a little bit, I started cleaning up and getting rid of the iron, and then I said, oh crap, I need to move the biomass. Now, a lot of you take down the biomass, I understand that, but I don't. I keep it up and running. It's a good backup just in case we do go over the electric somehow, some way. It might happen. And also, I'm going to make some liquid biofuel to make a jetpack, which will make it a little bit easier when I'm building the hub part. So I was like, well, let me show you moving not the whole thing, moving the biofuel, but setting up the biofuel. Well, then I was running back and forth, and I said, oh, it would be so much nicer if I had hypertubes. So then I was like, well, maybe I should do an episode on hypertubes. Well, you don't want to see me running hypertubes. Hypertubes are kind of boring, and I'll show you what to do, and I'll show you a little footage of it. So this is what the plan is. I'm going to do a 3-part episode. I'm going to show you a little bit about running hypertubes. I'm going to show you how to set up liquid biofuel. We'll get the jetpack, and then we'll set up the hub. So the main episode is on the hub, but I am going to show you a little bit of the hypertubes and a little bit of the liquid biofuel. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll get right into this episode. So let's get started. Alright, so over here, I decided to at least try to run a hypertube, which has no supports. It's just floating from here over to there. How I did that, I just took a 1 meter foundation, kind of went all the way across, and yeah, that's how I did that. And then I started going around the building. So this at least can bring us to here. So let's jump in, I'll show you. So again, no supports, it's floating in midair. I might put some beams or something under there, or I don't know, something. But anyway, this wraps around the building, very nice, very clean, very neat. And then it will drop us off between the wire factory. Wah! I just got hit by a fucking car. Jesus, we just started the episode. I'm alright. Anyway, here's the wire factory. Here's our warehouse, right? Although that does not look very neat, does it? And by the way, I deleted a truck when I was working these things out because, yeah, you know, the delete button and everything, it just doesn't work sometimes, but it's fine. I keep copying vehicle paths instead of supports and stuff, and again, yeah, that's not too fine, but it happens. So anyway, that might work out. That's much better. Okay, I can live with that. Anyway, that's gonna need an entrance because I don't have an entrance in there, and it's gonna need power. But anyway, that's just one out of many things we're gonna need. So anyway, over here, I guess we'll do another hypertube. We'll go around the building. The problem is here. What the hell? Why is this here? I don't know. It's fine. All right. I was probably... Oh, I raised this up. Because these wires were going through the building, I did not appreciate it, so I raised it up and I moved that, and it's fine now. It's fine. Anyway, I think we're gonna do a hypertube over here then, and that's gonna wrap around the building and bring us through here and around the front. And hypertubes are pretty easy to set in. The only issue I have with hypertubes, wow, I almost got hit by another truck, is the fact that, let me get out of the street because, wow, I think I whistled with that one. Let me get out of the street. So, because I definitely will get hit by another truck. The problem with hypertubes. Okay. So, open up your hypertube thing. We have these branch tubes, these junctions, and if they were T-junctions, they'd work better. If you could flip them, they'd work better. And what I mean by that is, here's one here. If I spin this, this is how it spins. I cannot put that downspout to the other side unless it goes up. I don't want it up, I want it down. So I can't mirror image this no matter how you look at it. Let me get out of the street because another truck's coming. The Y junctions. They're great. I mean, they can, you know, junction you off in different directions, but it's not a straight T junction. What I mean by that is I want it to go straight across the top, drop you down the bottom, and that's it. No, you can't do that. So let's just show you here. So here's that like Y junction. So I want to go this way, right? It's fine. It's fine. No, come on. Stop. There. So, and I want to go this way. See how funky it is? It's weird, alright? Let's go to auto. Maybe that'll help it. There we go. So that's one and that's the other, right? You gotta go down almost to go back up. I wish it just went straight across, or you can go down. It doesn't allow you to do that. If I'm on a corner, say, I want to be able to take that T junction, come down this way, come across this way, and then wrap around the building. If I had this, let's copy this Y junction here. It is a funky setup. No lie, it is really funky. Will it work? Of course it'll work. It'll work, but it'll look so uneven, not neat, not clean, not nothing. Alright, so we're going to start here. And we're going to take this wall support. Alright, and then we're just going to put it on the window here like that. And then we'll go back into here, hypertube, vertical, we'll go vertical, horizontal to vertical, do that. Alright, now we can just go straight like this. So I'm going to stop this right here. That's along this window line here. And then we could take this and go right when that curve doesn't look spazzy. Is that a word? Probably not, but you know. I'm back to the 80s again here. There. It turns that blue color. Let's come here, bring it out. You do that there. Then we'll bring that to where this line would be. Which is right there. Come around the front till it's blue. Come on, go back. There we go. And then we're going to run down. Wow, I can't speak. Run this down this, and I'm going to get hit by a car, but I can't see it, so. Alright, we'll just keep running it down this way. Well. There we go. Stop there. Bring it down the rest of the way, if it can. Oh, yeah, it can. Okay. And I think this actually would be a great place to come down. We do have the gas station here. And yeah, this would work. So again, this would make for a great Y junction here to go back to the concrete factory as well as come down here. Let's see how that would work. So if I would go here, again, look at the way that spins. That's stupid, but yeah, that's fine. What if we got rid of this? Alright, so as you can see, that looks better. So I adjusted the size here, moved it back a little bit, then put that in a little bit higher than where it was, came down to here, and now this can wrap around the top of the building here, and we could put it there, and then bring this to the back. The only problem is we're gonna have to bring it across, right? So why are these ran so high? I want them pretty level throughout the area, and this just happened to be where it ended up for the other one. Can it connect here? It can. Wall support, let's do that. Mid window, we'll do that. Well, no, I don't want to copy a vehicle path. Hypertube. I believe that looks straighter, and I think that's where we're going to keep it, and that is completely fine with me. We're gonna, let's see, can we do this nicer? Auto. Doesn't have like a straight mode. I really would prefer a straight mode. But anyway, that would come this way. And then, is that too close to the ground? Yeah, it might be too close to the ground. Okay. Really, you know, these roads are a little bit annoying. I keep getting hit. Let's go to here. I think I just double placed that. That's a pain. Alright, there we go. And then down into the top of here. And then down into here. If we go vertical, horizontal, I think that might be better. Nope. Can we come out this way? That might be better. That's giving us a real wobbly thing here. I don't mind that. I don't mind it. That is... So I think it's just because... There we go. It wasn't sitting right. That sits into the ground a little bit. It's fine. I could deal with it. Again, these are going to need these guys right here. These hyper supports. Not hyper supports. The hyper entrance. Where the frick? There we go. That thing. That's gonna need power. Can we run some power down here to one of these again? And then we could take a little ride through. We got power here. So what I can do is, let's go that way. I want to copy the Mark 2 outlet. Come over to here. Probably do this. You know what? It's fine if it's there. We can connect this to this. And we can connect this to this one. And this one to this guy over here. That will work. Alright, so we got a hyper tube entrance now applied to this one. Let's jump in. This is actually going to take us to that Y junction. And it should allow us to press E to turn either way. That is still a little crooked. It's fine. It's not going to make a difference. See, direction. That brought us down. If I pressed E, it would have brought us around. Again, we're going to need an entrance here. And we're going to need power to that as well. Again, I don't have power just kind of running around at all in this area for stuff. I do have an outlet over here somewhere. But anyway, I'll be back. Alright, so overall I got these hyper tubes ran. Let me just give you a little ride here and we'll see. We're gonna go this way, and then we'll go this way. We're gonna go that way. If you press E, you change the direction. And this is gonna bring us over towards the oil. That's gonna bring us down to the oil, but we're gonna go straight off to the copper. So there's 2 at the copper, 1 at the cable, 1 at the copper sheets. This will wrap us around. No, it won't. I forgot to connect those. Wonderful. Good thing I put on my parachute. So that's going to get connected there. That's fine. So that gives us 1 downspout here and 1 over there. This, if we get into it, let's see where that's going to take us. Over to here. That's going to bring us over to the fuel. And that's basically where we're going to get dropped off. Now, I do have 1 towards the oil, but I would have to take another route. So I haven't quite completed this, and it's not quite the neatest thing you've ever seen, but it gets us a good portion there. So I'm going to head back to the hub. I'm going to start cleaning up that biomass and biofuel, biomass, it's solid biofuel. And then we're going to set up some liquid biofuel. So this, to make things go the way I wanted to, I had to put either a foundation or a beam, anything that would help me to keep this straight. And it is straight. You can connect it to a wall, you can connect it to a foundation, a beam. There's so many different ways you can connect it, but yeah, that's kind of the way that you would connect it. This can now take me back over that way. There is a couple of small parts like this that you kind of have to make a quick decision, and this one I had to press E because I knew it was going to bring me down. but you won't know. You might have to get back into the pipe and go again. So I know this one's gonna let me off at a good spot, right down in here, and that will bring me over to here. I could put a temporary one over here so I can run a little faster, but this is fine. I could take this. So anyway, I'm gonna start taking down the biofuel. It's gonna take me a while because I have a lot of stuff that's going to fill our inventory up. So, yeah, I'll be back, and when we're ready to set it up, I will show you how to do it. Alright, so I reset up all the solid biofuel. So we have over here our wood, our leaves, making the biomass. We have a container right here. The reason why I leave a container is sometimes I pull it out to make fabric or something for gas masks and stuff. Over here, I got solid biofuel being made. Over here, there's a storage of solid biofuel. Again, I like to grab it when I'm cutting down trees or anything like that. And then that goes out to our biomass burners right here. And that goes down the line. So it's all split. And then when it comes to here, it's going into a refinery. In the refinery, we got solid biofuel and water. Now, over here, let's come over to here. This is where I grabbed the water from. Now, we only need 45 per minute for the water, right? So, I can underclock this to 45. This way, it'll take a little less power. Nothing too crazy, but every little bit helps, right? So, 45 per minute water, solid biomass, that's just coming in on a steady pace. And that's going into the refinery. So this is putting out liquid biofuel. That's going to go into a packager. So the packager needs the liquid biofuel, but it also needs empty canisters. So over here, I have a constructor getting plastic, making our canisters. And over here, I just hand feed this. And then over here, I will make an output right here. And we'll feed that out. Let's grab the same color here if I can. No, I can't. Who cares? Okay. We could just color that. It's fine. And that will be our liquid biofuel coming into here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a dimensional depot. And then we're going to set up a jetpack. So let's go ahead and do that. So now we're going to be able to pull liquid biofuel from the dimensional depot. Very simple process. It seems like, oh my god, there's a lot to do. It's really nothing. It's really solid biofuel, which you're already making, and some water. The packager, nothing crazy. I could pull the plastic right out of my dimensional depot, and it'll make enough for a while. After I notice I'm running out, I'll grab a little bit more plastic. Dimensional depot is here, not there. And already I got 800 in here. I'll throw the other 800 in here, and we have quite a bit of biofuel making liquid biofuel for a while. That'll be fine. Over here, everything's going in nicely. That's 40 per minute on the liquid biofuel. That's 60 per minute. So let's see. I can actually crank this up to 60. Or I could just bring this one down to 40. It all depends. Let's see. Yeah, we could just make 40 per minute. We don't need... We'll cut that back just a little bit. It's fine. And then if we go to our canisters, we need 40 per minute there. Let's see what we're making here. 60 per minute. That could be underclocked as well. Because I'm not going to be using a terrible amount of this probably for a while, you know, it's fine. It'll store, it'll keep, and it'll go up in the dimensional depot. So we're all good, honestly. So 40 is about all you need for that. I'm going to head back to the hub, and we're going to set up a jetpack. That's going to make our lives easier when we start setting up the hub, just in case we fall down a hole, which I do all the time. If there's a hole, I will find it. All right, I'll meet you back at the hub. All right, so we are in the equipment workbench or workshop. We unlocked jetpacks quite a few episodes ago. It was in tier 5, and it was the first one. So if we go over to here, we can go into here. As long as you have some motors, we have a couple of motors, pipes, iron plates, and some wire. We can go ahead and make a jetpack. We don't need more than one. And instead of the parachute, we'll throw it on our back. We'll go all the way down because I know my liquid biofuel was last here. And I could actually sort this. This is a mess. There we go. So now I can fly, which is super nice. But it did take the wrong power. Fuel is the word I'm looking for. If you look down here, it's taking biomass, biofuel, and we don't want biofuel. We want liquid biofuel. As you can see, it doesn't last very long with the solid biofuel. So anyway, if I hit tab, and there's this little circle right here, if I click on that, it'll tell me what my preferred biofuel fuel, period. So we do have packaged fuel, but believe it or not, liquid biofuel is much better than the packaged fuel. And I'm gonna show you really quick. So now this is the liquid biofuel. See how slow it goes down when I push up on here? Now I'm just gonna keep it going. It's fine. If I die, I die. But anyway, here we go. We're dropping back down. Boom. Let's go ahead and get that fuel. Now, of course, I'm almost dead. It's fine. It's fine. We're gonna let my health back up here. I don't really want 100, but I could split this down and then just throw it back in. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. All right. So now, if I go over to tab and I hit this little cogwheel here, I go down to package fuel. I'm gonna just grab something to eat. I think it would be smart, or I will die. Let me see if I have a piece of bacon in here. I do. Let's grab it. I didn't put it in my hand. That's a problem because you can't eat it unless it's in your hand. All right. So I'm gonna get out, eat, and eat. Come on, one more. I don't want to waste the bacon on that. All right. Oh, we'll just throw that back. It's fine. Here's a berry. I'm just gonna put that in my hand. I'll chomp on that. Now I got full thing. There we go. I wasn't gonna waste my bacon. All right. So now here is our. See how fast that goes down? Yeah. So liquid biofuel is the way to go. So I'm gonna just make sure that is my preferred. And now I can fly a lot higher at a lot slower pace, and I don't run out as fast. As soon as you land, it starts filling back up again, and we're good. So here's where we're going to place the hub. I think we're going to do a circular hub. I've done it before in the Best Start 2, and I'll show you how to do a circular hub in a minute. So I'll be right back. Alright, so now that we completed everything we needed to complete, the hypertubes, the liquid biofuel, the jetpack, which we can use, that's excellent. We're going to, well, I might as well grab that. Start a circular hub in this area. I've done this in my Best Start 2, and I really like it. It's, rare that you see some circular things, and I thought this was a pretty good area to do it. So I thought either we'll put the hub here, or maybe even the space elevator might fit here. I don't know. We could check it out. Let's see. So if we press Q, we put space elevator. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, even the space elevator would fit here too. So, I mean, we have options, right? But let's start on the circular hub. So down here I have a foundation placed. And actually, let's start with this, right? So this is the center, and we come out by the center by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So with the middle one, it would be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 that way, and 5 that way. It's of course getting dark now. So anyway, before I do anything, I want to make this probably coated concrete. Reason being is once you start laying this out, they overlap quite a bit. And once you overlap it, it's really hard with, to color it or do anything with it. So I think we're just going to keep it this, gray color with this. And that'll work out quite well. Alright, so it is getting dark. I think I might wait until it gets lighter out. I like the height. I know it's going to clear everything because this is the height here. And I don't want to come to here. It's coming very close. Could we come to there? We could. But I don't mind it being a step up and being up a little higher. So I'm going to wait for daylight. And I'll see you in... Well, for me it'll be a couple of minutes. For you guys, just a sec. Alright, now it's daytime, so we could start working on this. So, let me show you how we do this. So we make it like this. We make this kind of like plus sign. And, you know what? It works a little easier if we can just put a foundation here, because you could see from above just a little bit better. So anyway, aim at the floor here, and then hold control. And then scoot it back if you can. Then just slightly turn it once with your mouse, with your scroll wheel, sorry. What I meant to say. Then delete the middle piece again. Grab it again. Then when you hit control, it does move. Make sure it's exactly lined up again. This time, turn it 2 notches. And go. There you go. Delete the middle. This time we're going to do 3. Make sure it's lined up perfectly. 1, 2, 3. Bring it out. And now you're going to do that all the way around. So every time you get to a new one, you could turn it around and move this guy over to there. And just keep going. Just make sure you don't lose count. So we were up to 3. That is not right, because you could see the corner there. And then you could also see the sidelines. So just hold it with control. Make sure you line it up perfectly. And then go 1, 2, 3. Well, see, I slid a little too fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then look up. You'll see. There you go. So now we're up to 5. Anyway, you don't need to see me keep repeating this over and over again. Why don't you guys get ahead and get started if you want to make a circular one. And I'll be back after I at least finish this 1/4. I'll be back. Alright, so you should have something that looks a little like this. So it's kind of have this edge, and then it wraps around, and then see how smooth that is? That's pretty nice. You get a little bit of these little angles, nothing crazy. That one sticks out a little bit, but it's fine. Anyway, that's the circle. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show you. So when I got to the end, I actually went from this side because it started getting into like 14, 15. I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. If the circle gets a little bit crazy on these curves here, you can delete some of these. So you can't delete that one. That's the first one. So you can go in 1. Just slightly moving. There we go. And then you can delete all these in between. And then you'll get something like that. That's completely fine. You can actually delete that one as well. And that one. And then you could just put something in here. And just make sure you line it up against here. And that's fine. And that will help you to definitely see that a little bit better. So here I kind of messed that up. It's fine. Line it back up. That's lined up. Just go in by 1 and delete this. That's fine. Alright. So next we're going to move on. So you can see that one's the one that's got to get deleted. There we go. So anyway, we can move on to the next one. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to come over to this side and I'm going to work my way this way and then work my way back. So I'm just going to hold control, get this lined up straight. Turn it once, bring it out. There we go. And I'm going to do this all the way around and finish the circle. So I'll be back. Alright, so now I completed the circle. And you can see some flashing and, you know, where it's kind of conflicting. Sometimes what I'll do is, also when you want to place things, say like, I mean, if you weren't going to use this for the space elevator and you want to place it for the MAM, it bounces around in very weird spots. Sometimes what I'll do is find the middle again. This is the middle right here. And then what I'll do is, because I did remove all the center pieces here, I'll remove this and then I'll come around and I'll just remove some of these extra pieces. And then I could even remove those. Just don't remove the outside piece. And then once you do that, you can actually come back and remove a lot of this, as long as you keep your outside loop. So I have my outside loop here, so I know I can remove these inner ones if I wanted to. But for now, I'm just going to come in and take out some of these inside ones, because they do overlap quite a bit, right? Because you are overlapping just by a minute amount just to get that inner, you know, to get the circle. So I'm just going to remove a lot of this and I'll be back. So now I have like the outer two ridges kind of like still up. I could still come in and take this inside piece out if I wanted to. But you're going to want to be very careful not to take out that outer spot. I'm just going to come back around till I get to here. Take out that and then come back in. Do the same thing. If you want to, you can leave it as is if you want to. I like to remove some of this so I don't get a lot of that flickering. And so things kind of lay out the way I want them to. Remove that now. And this piece over here. And now I could pretty much remove all this. Alright, so now I got this inside piece and the outside ring. And now this is the center right here. So from the center, I'm just going to go out to the edge here. From the center, I'm going to go out to the edge here. And do that on all four sides. And then I can fill it in however I want to. So I'm just going to continue to fill out from the inside out. Whoa. Good thing I have my jetpack. And now you can kind of just fill this in. As long as you don't hit that outer edge, you should be fine. So I'm just going to actually take it maybe from... Let's see if I can line it up with this guy here. There we go. Alright, so now there's a lot less flashing and there's just a little bit of fill-in in the corners there. So that's not too bad. So I do want to put the space elevator over here. So I think what I'm going to do is hop on up here. And I'm going to see how this is going to fit. So I'm just going to grab our space elevator here. And I want to see where I could place it. Where the control panel is towards this way. I'm going to press H. I want to kind of get an idea of how this lines up. So I'm pretty sure, let's take a look here. This is pretty much middle, like right here, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So I'm just going to move this in. About there. And this is about 1.5, a little bit. Let's go around the front. 1, 2, and a little bit. Let me double check there again. 1, 2, and a little bit. Yeah, I think that's perfect. Let's go ahead and place this down here. There we go. Alright, so now that the space elevator is going to go around on this circle, let's see where we could put our hub, our MAM, some of the things we need. I think the hub I would like a little bit separated. Wow, that was loud. So if we come off of here, say, I'm trying to figure out where that outside would be. That would be right there. So we're gonna probably come off of here. Let's come down here, see if we can get a spot that works nicely. Wants to bounce there and there, but I don't think that's the right spot. It is not. Although it might be. It might be this spot. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just me. So I think I want it coming off of here a little bit better. I'm not sure if I can line this up very nicely. And I definitely can't delete those two. So if I were to... Can't come off of there. If I press H and then move it. That works. Okay. So I know that's where I want to be. Here and there. And then maybe I could place my hub over on this area here. I think that would work nice. Let's see what else we could do. Maybe move it this way. This way. And have a back piece on here. And then we're going to have to destroy our hub over there. Alright, so we have the space elevator. I want to just see if the hub will fit, because even though it's going to say that I can only build one, I can at least get an idea of the spacing, and that would be perfect. So let's go delete the one we have over there. Alright, we're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of the hub. We're going to get rid of the MAM. Let's see. That was fine. We will move our duplicating and our sync soon as well, but let's go ahead and do this first. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and get our hub. Now again, I'm going to press H. I want to see how even this ends up being. It's about halfway there. Halfway there. A little more than that. Let's move that back. About there. Okay, let's see what this is. I'm fine with that. Halfway there, a little bit in the front, extra. This would be coming off just a little bit off center from the actual walk, which is right here down the middle. I'm all right with that, so I'm gonna place it. Oh, so I think I'm gonna change the coloring to the carbon steel. I really do like the carbon steel. That's only gonna change that color. That does not change the workbench color, that color, the toolbox color. And these could all be individual colored, so that works out nice. I'm just gonna leave it like that. This, let's see, carbon finish, that's only one color for that. All right, so now we have to decide. It's getting a little dark. We could wait for light. What we want to do with this, we could put walls around it. We can fill in the foundation between the circle and this the rectangle we have here. We could put windows on it. We could leave it open. We could do so many different things. I do want to put a sink in here, a duplicator. We have some space back here we could utilize. Steps to come up and down. We have a lot of different things we can work with. You guys can either do what I do, or you can make your own, or don't do it at all. Whatever you want to do. So I just thought this was kind of a nice central space for it, because I think we're going to start building out further depending on where our resources are. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get off. I'm going to kind of decorate this up, do a couple of different things, try a couple of different things, and I'll be back. Alright, so here we have it. This is what I came up with. So I do have the space elevator up here. I think I'm going to put a door here because I keep moving the glass. And I think it just makes sense that you could walk in from here, probably right here, into there. This glass would go back here. And then we have our hub. And over here we have our equipment workbench. And we have our MAM. And then over here, I did have a hole open here, right in here, but it's 2, and I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. So if you come out here, go down these steps, you can come up this way, and this actually leans over a little bit past from where I would like it. Interesting. So I connected it to that down there, but I think I have to connect it up here because otherwise I get kind of this lip, and I really don't want that lip. So let's just color this, and now it's connected to here. This has a door into where our duplicator is, and then our space guy that has to go off can go through there. Yeah, he's gonna clip through the wires or whatever. That's fine. What? Okay, that's just an opening. I got nervous. I'm like, what is that? This is our sink, our store, and just where we would load our sink. So yeah, I fit everything in here. I just hit a wall. I did use these guys, and I connected these guys right off of our hub. Believe it or not, you can connect stuff off of like these catwalks, off of machines, off of the hub, and they actually lock in. Sometimes they match nice, sometimes not so nice, but yeah, they actually do work. And with that, I was able to kind of connect right off of there. So yeah, this should work. It's nice to have our hub have a nice new home and a place that will be, wow, I got some clipping here. Hold on. Thought I got everybody. There we go. It's nice that our hub will have a nice new place now to live, and we'll have this nice space, and I'll be able to clean up over there. So anyway, that's going to end today's episode, and if you like what you see, please like, subscribe, comment, share, do all those good things. I do have memberships, $2.99 and 99 cents. With the $2.99, you'll get a shout out after every video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.